Let's bring in journalist and filmmaker Ami Horowitz now. Ami, good to see you. We played this clip during Lefties, but I think it merits another play. Have a listen to this.
No, it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't supposed to be that way. We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist.
Ami, do you think Justin Trudeau is upset because Donald Trump has been hilariously mocking him online? He recently posted to Truth Social, "It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon so that we may continue our depth talks on tariffs and trade, the results of which will be truly spectacular for all." Ami, I've got to say, this trolling is epic, but how tragic is Trudeau? The guy is such a poster boy for the pathetic.
Yeah, first of all, let me make clear that Trudeau is definitely not the son of Castro, just so we're clear. And look, I understand why he's such a feminist, because he really isn't much of a man. I will tell you that. He's handsome, but doesn't have a lot of masculine qualities, if you ask me. I think it's, first of all, stay out of our politics, please. Nobody asks your opinion. No one wants your opinion. We are happy the way this thing worked out. This was a landslide, a modern day landslide anyways. And of course he wanted Kamala Harris. He wanted the weakest person possible as president so he could have his way. What he got was a very masculine Donald Trump who simply will have his way with Canada and Trudeau. But I wonder if he would have had the same tone if, let's say, Nikki Haley was president. Would he have raved about the Americans electing Nikki Haley? I think not. Look, like you said, Trump is an absolute master troller. Hats off to you, my friend. Yes, hilarious the way he framed that. But by the way, if Canada continues down the road of supporting guys like Trudeau and their ultimate economic downfall, which seems to be around the corner, they may, in fact, become a vassal state of the U.S. So maybe President Trump was prescient. Don't know.
Look, possibly, but you're right. Gosh, Trudeau is just so weak, just absolutely so pathetic. Now, let's talk about FBI Director Christopher Wray, who has announced his resignation ahead of Trump's inauguration. Trump appointed Wray during his first term in office and has already chosen, as we know, Kash Patel as his pick to run the Bureau. But he's posted, "The resignation of Christopher Wray is a great day for America, as it will end the weaponization of what has become known as the United States Department of Injustice. Under the leadership of Wray, the FBI illegally raided my home without cause, worked diligently on illegally impeaching and indicting me, and has done everything else to interfere with the success and future of America. I look forward to Kash Patel's confirmation." Wray's position, obviously, became completely untenable. But how will Kash Patel now fare in this role taking over?
Yeah, look, there's no question that there was a clear weaponization of the FBI and the DOJ under the Biden administration. And Americans paid attention because the favorability of the FBI is at its lowest ebb in 10 years. Less than half of Americans support the FBI. 41%. That's an insanely low number. That's down 18% in the last 10 years. Of course he had to resign. This is mostly under his tenure. But what does it say about the Democrats and how they use the FBI? Everyone has noticed it. This is why the favorability is down so much. And if you look at, obviously, the disconnect, the split between Republicans and Democrats, it's even more extreme. And this is not good. This is not, our structures cannot handle this. We need a strong, robust FBI. We don't want to have a hollowed out version. I think Kash Patel will bring back, some legitimacy to the FBI, which is a good thing for our country. Our country cannot handle a hollowing out of our significant structures, and the FBI is certainly one of that. So I am certainly optimistic Kash Patel will do something to bring the FBI back in the favor of Americans.
Yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed. Now, approval rates for asylum applications in the US have dropped dramatically in the run up to Donald Trump's second administration. 36% of asylum petitions were approved by the US immigration judges in October. That's a sharp decrease from the earlier Biden administration, where asylum grant rates topped 50%, which is outrageous. Army, is this the Trump effect already in action?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. We see the Trump effect already in foreign policy, right? We saw it with Hamas being kicked out of Qatar. We saw it with the ceasefire in Lebanon. And I can go on and on. We're now seeing in domestic policy in terms of how they're dealing with these asylum claims by judges. Yeah, I think that there's no question that's anticipation of what's going to happen with Trump. I mean, you're talking about under the Biden administration, asylum rates were above 50%. Historically high numbers. And now with Trump coming in, it's about a third. There's no question that has been a part of what the people are thinking is going to take place in terms of immigration policy under Donald Trump. Look, you could also see the issues that we have across the border now. We now have caravans, multiple caravans streaming up toward America in anticipation of Biden leaving office and Trump becoming president. So I think that they're getting their last licks and the last hurrahs because there's no question this border is going to be shut down under Trump. I don't have to think that. I know that because we saw it already on Trump 1. And all Biden had to do was simply look, if he really wanted this to be shut down, he could have shut it down. He didn't want it shut down. And now the Americans saw that. And that's one of the primary drivers and reasons why Biden is no longer president.
Yeah, good point. Exactly. And looking forward to seeing that border finally shut down come January. Now, let's move on to the outgoing Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. He has finally expressed remorse that the Biden administration had not done more to protect the 13 US troops who were, of course, killed in an ISIS-K suicide bombing during that chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan back in 2021. This is what he said.
I think today especially of the 13 heroes that we lost at Abbey Gate, and I deeply regret that we did not do more and could not do more to protect them. And to those families who are here with us today, you're in my thoughts, in my prayers. I wish that Nicole was here with us today. I'm deeply sorry that she's not.
Army, you could hear some hecklers there heckling him. This guy is so useless. Is this too little too late?
It is, and frankly, it's pretty gross, I have to say. And aside from the American soldiers who were killed in Afghanistan because of our incredibly hasty withdrawal, and frankly, this was in fact the first of the many, many strings of foreign policy failures under the Biden administration. Let's not forget that we left billions of dollars in weapons in Afghanistan for the Taliban to get a hold of. We also left behind people in Afghanistan. This set the tone for our foreign policy failures for the next 4 years. There's no question our adversaries saw weakness and they pounced on it. There's a direct correlation, I think, between us leaving Afghanistan and then soon thereafter Putin invading Ukraine, which he didn't do under Trump. He did, in fact, sense weakness. There's a direct correlation between a lot of the things that we saw with foreign policy being on fire during this time. And I think it's unfortunate. But did we learn our lessons for real? Look, Blinken sat there and he actually pushed back. It wasn't a full mea culpa. He did defend the withdrawal. And frankly, he didn't. Look, does he really care? He didn't even read the House Foreign Policy Committee on what actually happened in Afghanistan. So I'm sorry if I don't take it seriously. I'm sorry if I think it's hollow. And yes, it is absolutely too little too late, truly.
Yeah, it should have come a lot earlier than what it has. Let's talk about this. This is extraordinary. The Biden administration has quietly extended a sanctions waiver that will grant Iran access to roughly $10 billion from Iraq. This happened 2 days, apparently, after Donald Trump's Election Day victory. Army, what do you make of this?
Yeah, this is nothing new. They've been doing this now for years, giving this sanctions waiver. I don't get the details of it, but essentially trading energy in Iraq for releasing, unfreezing of money, talking about $10 billion. Look, if you look at this, again, the string of foreign policy failures under the Biden administration, I think Iran may rank as number one, to be honest. There is a connection between Iran and its money and October 7th and Lebanon bombing Israel and Hezbollah bombing Israel. There's a connection between this money and our troops being attacked and killed by Iranian proxies. It's all about the funding. Iran funds all of these things. And, it's extraordinary to me, the lack of basic economic understanding of the Biden administration. Their deniability of the fungibility of money is unhinged, right? They don't understand how this stuff works, that when you give with one hand, they are now freed up to use that money for other purposes. They keep saying, oh, no, we're looking at where this money is being used, humanitarian purposes only. But yes, it allows them to not use that money for humanitarian purposes, freeing up money for other things. Basic stuff. But the Biden administration has no idea what they're doing. And by the way, this is also not even talking about China being allowed to buy oil from Iran, giving it another source of funding. Look, this is the major, if we're not going to attack and bomb them, right, which obviously under Biden we're not going to do, the threat wasn't even there. I think the threat now, I'm not sure if we would do it, but the threat exists with Trump. But if you're not going to actually have a real threat of weapons, money and economic pressure is all you have. And the Biden administration has taken that tool away. And we saw the effect of an emboldened Iran throughout the Middle East. And frankly, the U.S. troops and Israel specifically paid the price.
Absolutely. Look, we're almost out of time, Army. Just really quickly, CNN finished number 17 among cable stations during prime time last week. It even had a smaller audience than the Food Network. All over at MSNBC, Joy Reid, she's lost roughly half of her viewers since the election, Army. Well, what do you say to that?
Oh, Joy Reid could not have happened to a better person. Oh, my God. So delicious. I mean, look, CNN had 376,000 people in prime time. As just a comparison, that's 14% of Fox News during the same prime time. Look, are we shocked that the American people don't want to see a continued mouthpiece of the failed Biden administrations? Of course they don't. It's reflected in the numbers. No question about it.
No doubt about it. The joyless Joy Reid is on the downer, Army Horowitz. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me.